Okay, so I have a special conversation for you today. I want you to meet someone very dear to me. You might know her, but I want you to learn about some of the secret gifts that she has that you might not know about. And for those of you who are sensitive, this will be a conversation not to be missed because you might relate. You might relate to some of what you hear from Danny. So let me see if I can get Danny, hi Amalia, on here. So Danny is a dear friend of mine, and we've collaborated on things before. We've worked with each other before. She's someone who takes lots of the magnificent photographs that I get to post, which you all know is, here we go, let me bring her on. I love to do. One of the perks that I think is so great about having a business, you get to do photo shoots. There she is.
Hello, love. Oh, let me see if I can change my hair. How are you? Good morning. I love your hair, Mama. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. There we go. Now I
Yeah.
match.
Oh, the purple looks so
Oh,
good.
oh, right? I should change it to purple. Maybe for Colorado.
Do it. Crazy. Like peacocking in our fun hair colors.
It'd be fun. Oh my goodness.
So Danny, I want you to tell everybody a bit about what it was like as a kid with all the sense gifts that you have, how that showed up. I think that people could relate to it, but I also think it's really important for people who are parents to hear. Sometimes I have parents contact me and they're like, I have a sensitive kid, and how do I relate to them? So what was
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So when I was growing up, my parents were definitely, I was lucky that they were really open to all these experiences because they really practice and metaphysics. So my mom was all into, my parents are from Chile. So this guy who was a monk, who then I later found out wasn't really a monk, but loved to live the monk life. His name was Losan Rampa. And he wrote a couple of books that my mom was just really, really fascinated with. And so she really kind of opened up the door for me and talked to me about, the third eye and really bringing in like telecommunication, how your spirit kind of lifts up out of your body and can go visit different places. And I always thought that that was just so beautiful that I could, as a human being, could do that as a soul level. But I think that there is a lot of, I got to see a lot of things, just opening myself up to many, many different experiences, like, seeing spirits and then feeling. I remember just being, when I was very little, being scared all the time, like just being scared. There was different places where I would go and it would just feel uneasy. And I remember my mom was all into the metaphysics but didn't really understand, and she had gifts herself and so did my father, but there really wasn't an understanding on how to protect yourself first. Like there was always like, oh, don't open yourself too much to the experiences. And, a bad spirit could come into your body, which as a kid, I was like, wait, what? I don't want to be opening. What does that mean? Some other spirits that are coming inside my body? That's just so weird. And then the era of like, I think when I saw ghosts, I was like even more mortified because I was like, oh my God, that actually can happen. Because then you start picking up little things as a kid. You're like, oh, well, I can, that's pretty cool that I can call my mom with my mind. I wonder, for me, it was like, I wonder if I can communicate more with other people other than my mom. So it was always a curiosity as a kid. And I think that that's the part with my parents that made me really just super, super happy because there was an open communication. Like if something happened, you know, I could definitely be like, oh, this is what happened. My mom, you know, when I was very little, she would say to me, Danny, because I would tell her all my dreams, you know, and like, oh, mom, like, guess who? And it was always like, it was always somebody passing away. And just became a joke, like, you know, please don't tell me if you dream of me passing away, because that would be, you know, because it would always just come true. But it was just a beautiful experience growing up. But there was definitely things that I wish, you know, hindsight, like I wish that I would have known, because you know, you just don't know. And those fears that I always felt in fear of when I was growing up maybe wouldn't have been so, you know, it would have been more explained as I grew older. And there was definitely a part of my life that I even, because of those fears and because I couldn't explain the things that were coming and the things that I was seeing, or some of the actions that were propelling me to like have more experiences, um, I shut that down, that part of my life down, for a very, very long time. Um, and I think that as a parent, and as a parent of two children who, at least for me, who are also sensitive, it's just so important for me to kind of also relay that message of what it is to be like, to be as a child, and what my experiences were growing up.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, fast forward to adulthood and tell us, how do these sensitivities show up in your adult life? And then I want to hear about your experience of joining Master Your Magic and what that entails.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So as an adult, like after I got divorced, it was crazy because after I got divorced, it was like my soul was really, I went to a psychic, and because I was so lost in my life, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where to go. And so I went to this one lady, who basically told me, you just have to like kind of shut everything, like the mental, because I was just thinking so much, the mental chatter, and just listen. Right. And so when I started to really listen to myself and my, you know, all of my intuition, I started to slowly, and it wasn't all of a sudden, it was like a really slow process of opening up that door again, and I guess feeling safe to open up that door again. Um, and so it took me a while to really even feel safe in saying that I had all these abilities. Um, and you know, it was just safety on my end of not feeling scared. I think it was like very much of a trauma when I was a kid, and feeling all this, being scared all the time. And then allowing myself to kind of be that person in the world, right? It wasn't, I think that it was really in my mind, uh, I was already so different when I was little. And did I want to face that again? Right. And it wasn't until I met you, right? It wasn't until the one retreat where I met you, and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is just a magical unicorn. And I just so love her so very much. And she's so open with all of her gifts, and so open with everything. And just the openness to just allow yourself to be who you are really gave me that freedom for myself to be, you know, be this person, have these gifts, and be open about them. And you know, the part of taking, and I remember you saying to me, on the retreat, you know, that basically, you know, I already had the tools that I was working with. And can you imagine if like somebody taught you how to do all the other stuff, but in a really set way of teaching? And I think that for the first time, you know, I always just felt, right? I always felt my way through things, or allowed myself to be open to different experiences. But it wasn't, I never even thought of like having a course that would teach me how to be more in tune with my gifts and how to almost make them stronger, right? And really not be in control of the things that were happening, right? Where I felt so out of control before, where it was like, okay, I'm dropping in and I have no idea what is coming through, but this is what I have to say. And then being also not being protected, because I felt very depleted. Like I remember a couple times when people I was around people and I didn't know why I felt so depleted around them, and it was just an exhaustion. And it wasn't until I took your course that it was like, oh yeah, I do have to protect myself, like I do have to cleanse all this all the time. And that has definitely been for me a lifesaver, one, because now I have the energy to be around the people, you know, and choose to, or choose not to be around the people. But it really allowed me to really understand and hone in on my own gifts. And I think that that's what you provide in the course. And I love that it's at your own pace. I love that you get to every single week just work on something different. I love that you get to meet other people who are curious and have the gifts that we have, and get to explore even more. I love that we get to connect every single week with one person, individual, and work on ourselves and really connect to that one person. Like there's just so much that you give in this course that it's just, I mean, no wonder it's called magic, like that there's magic in it. So I'm just so grateful always for the opportunity to just have been in the course, and knowing all the people that are in it, and knowing you and just your magic and your beautiful just soul always.
Oh, I just love hearing you talk about all benefits. I think we take for granted sometimes when we're standing in the place of feeling like sovereignty with our abilities and the control with them, so we can use them when we want to, and we're not at the mercy of, we're not unprotected, it's not scary. I think we forget that that's the way that it was and is for the vast majority of people out there. So tell us a little bit about now what it's like for you, having gone through this whole program, and now how does this all show up, and what does it feel like in your life to have these kinds of gifts? How do you use them, and
Oh my gosh. It's been a life changer, Cara, like a true life changer. I think that it's really, it's allowed me, like it's given me permission. I think that that's the biggest thing that I feel that the program has given me, like the permission um, to be myself, to be in this world. And I love, what I do with my gifts is really witnessing women and photographing them in that witness, and really loving them in a way that, or showing them how I see them as a woman, as a human being. And these gifts have really allowed me to connect in such a deeper way, right? It's no longer for me, at least it's where it used to be a photography session, right? For me now, it's like it's the witnessing, it's the allowing of the gifts to come through. I just had a session with one of the goddesses that are coming to the Colorado retreat. We are talking about like what the wild woman looks like for her. Um, and she's like, Danny, like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And it's really just the understanding and the mastering, right? And the mastering of the magic that you show us within the program. And I think that that's the part that I really want people to understand. And if they're feeling an inclination of like I'm feeling all these things, and or I'm already doing my stuff. Like, why would I want to go and take the course? Um, and for me, it's really simple. It's connecting to yourself again, like connecting to your powers in a way that you haven't been able to connect to before. Because even though you do have powers, right, and you do have gifts and you have all these abilities, whether it's seeing or feeling or tasting all of the things, or seeing spirits, I think that there is a real treasure of understanding how it all works. And even though, for me, logistically, I'm not a logistical person, but when I stepped into a structure kind of format, right, where it's really weekly understanding of everything that goes on within your body and getting to connect with yourself at a higher, because we also do so much work on other people, right? That we forget sometimes to do work on ourselves. And being able to connect to my higher self in a way that I hadn't before, it was complete mind blown. I was like, what? She talks to me too? I can't believe it. I'm so happy. So it was really something that was that I have really just benefited so much. My business has grown. My connection to other people have grown. I mean, I can't. My business has changed. Like it's all really completely changed for me ever since this course. I think that it's really has a, like I said, allowed me to be who I was at in a much bigger space. Like I was playing so small before that I was just like, I think I wrote a post about this today, that I felt so like just so small, and I remember wanting to just be free. And freedom for me meant, just being able to open up about my stuff, being able to say, like, I am a clairvoyant, a photographer who's gonna see your soul, like that. I'm gonna see you and I'm gonna witness you and just love you up no matter who you are. So this course is for at all levels, which I absolutely love, which I think that you bring in all those levels, and getting to see somebody who comes in and who's kind of curious about their gifts, or things that have been going on, to the people who have been doing it for a while, and just get to reintroduce those techniques over again. So I love
And
that.
who do you recommend should take this course?
Everybody. Everybody. Please go work with Cara. um I think that it's for everybody. I think that that's what I was saying. Like, it's all levels, right? So if you're curious about um going in and feeling in, because I know that this year has been so, like, well, I say this year because I feel like we're still in 2020, but 2020 was so big for so many people, right? And for those of us who were sensitive or curious or like feelers, we felt so much. And then there was people who didn't even know that they were sensitive, or that they had these gifts, that all of a sudden it's like, what? Like, why am I seeing all this stuff? Like, I feel things. Like, what is this all about? I think that it's really, really so important to allow that curiosity to be built, and really take advantage of somebody who knows what she's talking about. Like Cara, like that's what I felt so safe and so seen, and I think that that's one of the things that you always provide, the safetiness and the being able to be seen in a way and loved in a way that not a lot of people can do. And I think that the if you're feeling a curiosity about your gifts, and also like myself, like I was already doing some of the things that I'm doing now. I was already, clairvoyant. I was already feeling. I was already seeing. I was already connecting to guides and other souls, but I just didn't know how to um like how to do things, like even for myself, how to protect myself, how to get more connection with the guides, how to allow, right? So there was a lot of beautiful techniques that Cara has shown me through the course that has really exploded my gifts. I remember, yeah, just from the very beginning, it was very like, oh, this is like from the very first week. I was like, this is amazing. Like, why, like, this, everybody should know this. So, anybody, I think that everybody should really, I think that everybody has the gifts. So, I think that everybody should be taking this course. And
Thank you.
especially this year, like especially 2021, when there's been so much change, and the spiritual awakening is really happening. And so, and for all of us, like some of us who are baby, in our baby stages, this is really important stuff, you guys. And then some of us who are more advanced in our techniques and our gifts, it's still super important to be able to connect to other people and to learn. Like, I think that that's the part where it's just so beautiful, just learning more.
I think you're so right about that. I think so many people who this is all brand new to and they never even thought about this before were so bombarded by energy in this last year that all of a sudden it's the thing they can't ignore. What's happening to me? Where's all this anxiety and everything coming from? And then people like you who have all of these gifts already, I'm hearing so many people who are saying last year made it so much harder to connect. The ways that you were used to, or where you were used to finding that connection or finding spirit, you couldn't find it, or it was like staticky, you couldn't connect. So then it's really, I agree with you, it couldn't be a more important time to come in to get to really, really start to harness these tools.
Yeah. No, it's really, and we're just so lucky to have you here in this lifetime and just guiding us through all of it. And I think that it's just so beautiful, and you do such a magnificent and just magical, um, you're just magical. And I'll never get tired of saying that, just because I think that I feel the way that you have helped me, and I see the way that you have helped other women who we know. And I just know that the world just needs this, and the right souls are going to connect, and the right soul who's just yearning to want to explode more, or be curious about what is going on in their system. This is just such a perfect way to do it. And I mean, I'm just so grateful that it was 2020 that I went into the program. Well, 2019, right? 2019, 2020. um and I'm just so grateful. And I think that 2021 is just going to be just an explosive year. And this is just the right timing, you guys. The right time to connect to Cara, the right time to do this course. Oh my gosh, all of it, all the feels.
Thank you so much, Danny. For anybody
No,
who experience of being witnessed, having your soul witnessed by Danny, get in front of her camera, do it. Danny and I are leading a retreat in Colorado this summer. It's long sold out, but we're already talking about when to put the next one on. So keep your eyes open. Being in her presence is a gift. Thank you.
mm.
Hey, my love. I'm so
Thank you so much. So grateful, and just love you to pieces. I love you so much.
thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye.